I bet. Just a minute. It lives, I see. Do you want to speak with Lolita? I'm sorry, but Gabriel is a lout. Oh, I mean, he's out. Yeah, if he ever comes back, I'll tell him. You know, you could do better. I know I don't know you, but you could do better. Good morning. The phone's been ringing off the hook all morning. Let me know when you want your messages.
Yeah.
Gee, you're lively. Did you have another nightmare last night?
Sort of.
I told you it's that voodoo book you're researching. That stuff can seriously screw up your karma.
I'm sure that's it. Maybe I should write a horror novel on passive resistance instead.
So don't sleep. It's your body. Anyway, your handheld tape recorder came today.
Really? Great.
I can't wait to see what human rights you violate with this one.
I can't wait to violate them. For example, if you would just let me...
And I located some local voodoo references for you. Dixieland Drugstore and the Historical Museum of Voodoo. Both are right here in French Quarter.
How would I ever manage without you?
You? Give me a break. The devil himself couldn't change you.
Well, if the devil had great legs, perhaps, like yours.
And a riveting personality, I'm sure. Well, if you need any more research done, just ask. It's not as though we're swamped with customers.
Gabriel is carrying nothing. Gabriel stopped talking to the books once Grace came to work here. There's no one in that part of the shop to talk to.
So, what's new, Grace?
Your use of mathematics, for one thing. These books are unbelievable.
What can I say? I refuse to be bound by rules.
The strap marks on your bedpost speak otherwise.
The chandelier is original. All right. He can't afford to replace. Today's newspaper is on the counter. Blessed caffeine. The books on the table have the magnifying glass.
Mind if I borrow the magnifying glass?
No, Sherlock. Just bring it back when we get the next estate shipment.
No problem. I'm gonna take the tweezers for a bit.
Good. You're beginning to look a little scruffy.
Just trying to make you feel at home.
Gabriel cannot see any way to pick that up. Gabriel find those popular Times Picayune, dated June 18, 1993. The front page has an article about the voodoo murders. The article says that the victims are all identified as members of the underworld. The general public of New Orleans is in no danger. Police claim the so-called voodoo trappings found at the crime scenes are fake, a scare tactic, and that the murders are not associated with any genuine practitioners. Gabriel also scans the Aquarius horoscope for the day. Potential storms ahead. Proceed with caution and do not get involved with anything new at this time.
Right.
Gabriel cannot see any way to pick that up.
My kidney's already floating, thing.
Gabriel cannot see any way to pick. Gabriel leafs through a German-English dictionary.
Let's see, Mittag means midday, noon.
Gabriel leafs through.
Spiel means game. Interesting.
Gabriel's hat. Gabriel can. Gabriel.
Like a...
Gabriel. Gabriel can't lug the painting round. Gabriel. The gargoyle is heavier than it looks. Those two objects would have no.
See you later.
Don't hurry back on my account. Oh, joy.
There is nothing to open or close.
If you try to look down my shirt one more time, I'm leaving.
Hell, just trying to refresh my memory.
I know what you're trying to refresh, and it isn't your memory. Get down.
Moving that would do little good. Move, Gabriel. Try to walk, icon.
Hey, kids.
Bruno, how nice.
Gee,
That explains why I so rarely see anyone in here. Are you going to sell me that wonderful painting of yours today?
are you ready to drop dead today?
Well, really?
Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
What can you tell me about voodoo?
I didn't know much of anything about it until you started researching it for your book. Now I know that it's active in the city. There's that shop and museum. It can clearly be dangerous in the wrong hands. You should be careful investigating it.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Just what I read in the paper, same as you.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
Well, I've only been here 2 months, but I love it. It's so much more alive than any place I've been. It feels like anything's possible here.
Tell me about yourself, Grace.
Yeah, right, Knight.
I mean it.
What do you want to know?
How come we haven't gone out yet?
I'm still waiting around for that lobotomy. As soon as I get it, I'll let you know.
How do you like working at St. George's Books?
Well, it's not exactly a huge intellectual challenge. Although the math in your record books could confuse Einstein. Still, I love old books, and it's a nice way to pay the bills while I explore the city for a summer. If you ever pay me, that is.
What do you do after work?
Well, I either go to my oil painting class or my Tai Chi. You know that.
You know, you can go overboard with this improving yourself stuff. You don't want to alienate us mere mortals.
I suppose I should just allow my mind and body to atrophy.
Works for me. How old are you?
Old enough to know about men like you.
Just tell me anything at all.
I just got my master's in history and classics. My folks wanted me to go on right away for my PhD, but 18 years of school was enough. I needed a break.
Just tell me anything at all.
I came to New Orleans because I'd read so much about it and I thought, spending a few months here would clear my head.
Just tell me anything at all.
I've always wanted to do something really adventurous, Something real life. I'm sick of libraries and lecture halls.
Nothing, I guess. Never mind.
Suit yourself.
Do you have messages for me?
Dana called, and Susie left a message about a lawsuit.
Awesome.
Okie dokie. There's more when you want 'em.
Do you have more messages for me?
Your grandmother called.
I keep meaning to get over there. What did she say? Did she sound good?
She sounded great, and we had a nice little chat about you.
Grace.
Don't worry. I didn't go into detail about your cardinal sins. Not that anything about you could surprise her. She adores you anyway.
She's my girl.
But she said to remind you to stop by and go through your father's things.
Okay. Do you have more messages for me?
Here's a strange one. You got a call from someone named Wolfgang Ritter? He said he was calling from Germany. He told me it was urgent, maybe you should give him a call.
Call Germany. Like hell. If it's really important, he'll call back.
Well, fine. Let's just hope he's not with the German lottery for pitiful American authors.
Could you do some research for me?
Sure. What?
I can't think of anything.
Okay.
Tell me about yourself, Grace.
What else do you want to know?
Just tell me anything at all.
My folks are traditional Japanese. I don't even remember Japan myself. I was 3 when we came to the States.
Just tell me anything at all.
I've been studying Tai Chi for 10 years. It's a very spiritual discipline. I'm sure discipline of any sort isn't something that would appeal to you, Gabriel.
Just tell me anything at all.
My folks want me to get married to a boy back east, Mark Kobayashi. His parents are traditional Japanese too. I might eventually, but right now...
Just tell me anything at all.
I came to New Orleans because I'd read so much about it and I thought, spending a few months here would clear my head.
Just tell me anything at all.
I came to New Orleans because I'd read so much about it and I thought, spending a few months here would clear my head.
Just tell me anything at all.
My folks are traditional Japanese. I don't even remember Japan myself. I was 3 when we came to the States.
Nothing, I guess.
Suit yourself.
Do you have more messages for me?
Your friend Detective Mosley called. Talkative, isn't he?
Especially with you. What do you want?
He left an interesting message. He told me to tell you that his mother's maiden name is Humphrey. Oh, that's Humprey.
Fascinating.
And that he left some photos for you at the station, at the front desk.
It's about time.
Gabriel, those photos wouldn't have anything to do with the voodoo murders, would they?
Now, why would you say something like that?
Because I know you. You're getting privileged information, aren't you? Did you tell him you'd put him in your new voodoo book?
A writer has certain obligation to his readers, you know.
Gabriel, you know you'll never put him in your book. Your main character is a female orthodontist. You're gonna be reincarnated as a pit bull if you keep screwing with your karma.
As long as it's a male pit bull with a really big...
That's enough. Thanks. Anyway, that's all the messages. Thank God.
What else can you tell me about New Orleans?
You're the native, don't ask me.
Do you have more messages for me?
I've given everything to you.
There is nothing to The books cannot be operated.
I've got some things I need to do.
Have fun.
Hello, beautiful. It's me.
The excitement.
I'll be back later.
Uh-huh.
Hi. Uh-huh.
A variety of cloth dolls are arranged above the shelves, each impaled with a single silver pin. It's a mannequin wearing a crocodile mask. Root bags, curio boxes, and magic candles, sold as curios only. We cannot guarantee results. Small bags made of felt and flannel hang from the ceiling.
Those are gree-gree. They're for the magic. No guarantees, though, you know.
The containers on this shelf all say magnetic sand. Draw good luck and prosperity.
I should probably buy 50 pounds or so for the bookstore.
There's no one there to interrogate. Gabriel doesn't see any use in consulting.
Hi. Look around all you want.
Okay, thanks.
A wooden doll with horns is on the back table.
Looks like Jack Nicholson.
The window overlooks Charter Street. The back wall displays various voodoo items such as a Something about the shape of that knife gives Gabriel the creeps. The back wall displays various voodoo items, such an artist's rendering of the voodoo dances in Congo Square. She looks thrilled to be here. A very large, very formidable-looking snake. A beaded gourd is on display. An official voodoo wishing stump. Rub it and make a wish, a card says.
He's got more hair than Mosley. Reminds me of a book critic for the...
Gabriel cannot Gabriel doesn't see any use in She looks thrilled.
Could I ask you a few questions?
I wouldn't be much help. You should talk to Dr. John, the owner. He'll be back tomorrow.
I see. Thank you.
Gabriel can't do a thing with a drummer on the street. That doesn't seem to be. There is nothing to open. The doorway is already open.
I'll be gone now, thanks.
So long.
The chancel of St. Louis Cathedral consists of a raised dais, an altar, 2 pedestals, and a choir area. At least the cherubs are an aesthetic way of asking for donations. Rows of pews line each side of the nave's aisle. Flags of the world are displayed from the upper story. A promotion of the universal harmony, no doubt.
You white-faced geek! You want to eat my fist?
It's one of those mimes. Oh boy.
Why, you nasty thing, you! I'll call the police, I will!
Hey, stop picking on me! I'll tell my dad!
It's one of those mimes. Oh boy. That wouldn't be particularly illuminating. Talking to that. People seem to... Gabriel cannot interrogate. The Cajun band is... That wouldn't be... The other park visitors are enjoying. A Cajun band, inventive as always with their instruments, is having a good old time on the lawn. Funny how catchy that toe tapping can be. People seem to be enjoying. The other park visitors are enjoying their leave. That jazz band is pretty good. Of course, that jazz band is pretty good. Of course, most jazz bands in New Orleans are. The band isn't paying any. People seem to be. A blues band entertains on the lawn. Now that's music. A lone drummer beats out a haunting rhythm on a large African drum. There's no one there to interrogate Gabriel. Gabriel doesn't want to take that out of the park. These binoculars aren't going anywhere without a jackhammer. 4 pairs of binoculars are rigorously An unhappy-looking man explores the dangers of drinking alone. Gabriel and the bartender are old pals. A street drummer has found a spot outside the Napoleon House. A small table, recently deserted, holds the remains of someone's drink. A sharp-eyed gentleman in a grey sports coat hunches over a chessboard, chuckling to himself. A young man is deep into conversation with his girlfriend. and feeling no pain. A young woman is enjoying drinks with her boyfriend.
Kinda cute.
A sharp-eyed gentleman in a gray sports. A sharp-eyed gentleman in a gray... It's a bust of Napoleon.
Could I ask you a few questions?
Sure. I'm not too busy at the moment.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Voodoo? I don't believe in it myself. I invented a drink once called Lavau's too. But it wasn't very popular. Some people do believe, though. Even some of our regulars here at Napoleon House.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
I'm no expert. You might want to talk to someone who believes in it.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
It's all over the papers. Some kind of serial killings.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Well, they say a lot of voodoo stuff is found near the bodies.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
Greatest city in the world. I'd never want to live anywhere else.
Tell me about yourself.
A good bartender listens to other people's life stories without telling his own.
What can you tell me about your regulars in here?
This crowd, the ones you see, are mostly regulars. That guy and girl in the corner come here a lot. When they're not fighting, they're all over each other. In other words, they're in love.
Tell me about the street musicians around here.
I like music as much as the next guy, but they get pretty monotonous sometimes, you know? Like that drummer right outside. They say there's been a drummer outside Napoleon House since the day it opened. I like drums, but this character really gets on my nerves. It sounds like the same thing over and over. I just want to say, enough already.
Sounds like my life. What can you tell me about voodoo?
I'm no expert.
Tell me about yourself.
A good bartender listens to other people's lives.
What can you tell me about your regulars in here?
See those old guys at the chess table? That's Sam and Marcus. They played every day for 20 years. Sam, the one with the purple jacket, he's lost every one of those games. It's not that he's a bad player. I've seen him beat guys twice as good as Marcus. But Marcus has Sam so psyched out, he loses his nerve every time. By the way, Sam, the chess player, he's into that voodoo stuff. He's always talking about spells and gree-gree and stuff.
Really? Thanks. What can you tell me about your regulars in here?
I'd call you a regular, Gabe. And one of our local writer celebrities, too. Been coming in here, what, 10 years now?
Don't remind me.
We're still waiting for that bestseller.
Don't hold your breath. What can you tell me about your regulars in here?
That's about all I can say about this crowd.
Tell me about the street musicians around here.
Don't know what else I could say.
So what has Sam told you about voodoo?
Well, about 50 years ago, Sam was too shy to talk to this pretty girl he was in love with. He went to a voodooine and had her make him a love charm. It was a little pouch that he had to bury under the girl's front porch. Well, he buried the pouch, and the next day, he went up and talked to the girl. And, sure enough, she didn't reject him. Now she's his wife. Poor guy.
Can I ask you some questions?
I'm here to relax, friend. Buzz off.
Right. Sorry. Sorry to bother you, but could I ask you a few questions?
I'm not the chatty type, am I, Sam?
No, you bastard, you're not.
Besides, I'm busy sucking poor old Sam dry. Go bug someone else.
With all the people in this bar, Gabriel wants to talk to Dad.
Can I ask you some questions?
Sure. You want to know my son?
On second thought, I don't think you could help. Forget it.
With all the people in this bar, Gabriel is standing in the lobby of his friend Mosley's precinct. It smells like a cross between a hospital and brewery. The desk sergeant looked like a poster boy for heart disease. There is nothing to operate. There is nothing to move. Gabriel cannot see any way to...
No one goes back there until I say so, mister.
Sorry.
Talking to thin air could get one arrested here. Talking to thin air could get one arrested here. The official... That wouldn't be particularly... The shop would be rather vulnerable.
Gabriel, I'm so glad you stopped by.
Sorry it's been a while, Grandma.
Not at all. Give us a kiss. Now come and sit down. Tell me how you're doing.
On the wall are portraits of Gran and Gramps when they were young. Gabriel's inherited some good-looking genes. Granny's knitting. She whips through that stuff like there was no tomorrow. Fresh carnations. Granny likes soft. That clock has been in the... The stairs lead up to the attic.
How you been, Gran?
Just fine, dear. I'm sorry I bothered you at work, but I was hoping you'd get a chance to go through your father's things in the attic.
Don't be silly. You can call me anytime.
Granny might get worried if
Can we talk, Gran?
Of course, my boy. How can I help?
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Voodoo? What an odd question, Gabriel. Of course, you always were interested in monster movies and all that other weird stuff. You get that from your father and granddad. I don't know anything about it, dear. Of course, it was very big in New Orleans at one time, but you don't hear about it so much these days. Too much else in the world to worry about, I guess.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
I don't know what else to tell you, dear.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Oh, Gabriel, nothing. And I don't want to. I sometimes wonder what this world is coming to.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Oh, Gabriel, nothing.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
New Orleans is very southern. Of course, though, not as much as it used to be when I was a girl. It's gotten much more influenced by the East Coast and that California stuff. Still, it hasn't changed as much as other places, I reckon. We've always been happy here.
Tell me about yourself.
Me? Oh, surely you have something more interesting to talk about.
Oh, come on, Gran.
All right, dear. What do you want to hear?
What do you do all day?
You know how I love to knit and work in my garden. I also take long walks. It's the only way to keep an old body like mine from stiffening up.
You're not old.
Oh, don't be foolish. I'm older than the hills.
Tell me about before you met Granddaddy.
Well, you know I was born Rebecca Wright. My daddy owned a lot of land outside of town. We grew peas, corn, cotton, all kinds of things. It was a good childhood, but my father was very strict. He didn't much let me out of his sight.
Tell me how you met Granddaddy.
I met Harrison at a church revival. There was a traveling preacher back then, a big fella named Reverend Jim. I even remember his slogan, "Come to me to find your way." Your granddad was sitting right behind me and my girlfriend Alma, and at one point, old Reverend Jim was flinging his hair around with his fire and brimstone antics, and a piece of it, one of those small add-on do's for men, went flying off. I swear, Harrison and I were the only ones that noticed. We both started laughing to beat the band. Everyone looked at us like we were a couple of loonies. It was then I knew that he was for me.
How you feeling these days?
Fit as a fiddle, and don't you worry your head about it.
Just tell me anything at all.
I had your father when I was 22. The doctors told me I couldn't have any more after him, so I'm afraid I spoiled him rotten.
Just tell me anything at all.
I never loved any man but your grandfather, and I never will.
Just tell me anything at all.
I hate to admit it, but I was a jealous little thing when your granddad and I were younger. I loved him so ferociously, and he did attract the eyes of the ladies, whether he wanted to or not.
Just tell me anything at all.
I get lonely sometimes, but I have lots of girlfriends in the neighborhood. I call one of them if I'm feeling blue.
Just tell me anything at all.
I wish you'd settle down and give me a great-grandchild.
Oh, Gran. Just tell me anything at all.
I had your father when I was 22. The doctors told me I couldn't have any more after him, so I'm afraid I spoiled him rotten.
Just tell me anything at all.
I never loved any man but your grandfather, and I never will.
Oh, nothing, never mind.
All right, dear.
Tell me about our family.
Who would you like to hear about? Your granddad, your father, or your mother?
Tell me something about Granddad.
Your granddad immigrated to America when he was 21. He worked his way through school, met and married me, and we had your father, Philip.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Your granddad supported me and your father with bookkeeping. I'll tell you what, though, he hated every minute of it. Didn't really like bookkeeping one bit. Maybe that was why he had the worst luck with jobs. The nights he'd come home afraid to tell me he'd lost another. And I would tell him it didn't matter to me, but he felt ashamed, Gabriel.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Harrison was only 36 when he died. Your father was 8 years old at the time. Your granddad was hit by a streetcar in the business district. Took me nearly a year to believe he was really gone.
I'm sorry, Gran.
I know you are, dear.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Did you know that your granddad was a poet? He was! He wrote the most beautiful poetry for me when we were courting. I always thought he should have done something with that gift. But he was such a practical man. Didn't believe in chasing after dreams.
Tell me something about Granddad.
I don't know what else to tell you, dear.
Tell me about my father.
Your father was my only child. How we adored him. Philip suffered from terrible nightmares, just like your granddad did. They were 2 peas in a pod.
Tell me about my father.
When Philip met your mother, it was love at first sight. They were married 2 weeks later. Never looked at a girl seriously until then. And he looked at plenty. You have your father's way with women, Gabriel. And your granddad's.
Tell me about my father.
I wanted to just lay down and die when he and your mother were killed in that car crash when you were only 8. It was the thought of taking care of you that kept me going, Gabriel. The police say your father swerved off the road after being frightened by something. Perhaps a deer in the road or a wild cat.
Tell me about my father.
Your granddad wanted Philip to have a normal life. He was obsessed by that thought. He pushed Philip to go to law school. Philip was driven to art. He painted almost in a daze. He would get so inside himself when he worked.
Tell me about my father.
He always hated it that it was Margaret's money that supported the 3 of you when his painting couldn't. I kept telling him, try something more cheerful, like a landscape or 2. But he couldn't do it. His work was just too dark and disturbing for the public, you know.
Tell me about my father.
I don't know what else to tell.
Tell me about my mother.
Your mother was Margaret Templeton when your father met her. She came from a very wealthy Creole family in New Orleans. She was beautiful and reckless. She was madly in love with your father, of course, but I also think she liked defying her family. Since you're so interested in family history these days, why don't you go by St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 and visit the family tomb? It would be a sweet gesture.
Maybe I will. Tell me about my mother.
Your mother's family refused to give her money after the marriage. All she had left was a modest trust fund from a great-aunt, who happened to like Philip. The remainder of your mother's trust fund became yours when she died. That's what you used to open your bookshop.
Tell me about my mother.
The Templetons are all gone now. Every last one of them. They never wanted anything to do with us, of course. What a waste.
Tell me about my mother.
I don't know what else to tell you, dear.
You know, you get prettier every time I see you.
Oh, you.
Have you baked any of your incredible molasses pies lately?
No, dear. But you let me know when you want some, and I'll whip up half a dozen.
You've lost weight. Are you courting a new man?
Oh, Gabriel, don't be silly. You know there'll never be anyone but your granddad for me.
I'm going to go up to the attic, Gran.
Be careful of the dust.
Grandma's attic is a storehouse of forgotten treasures and useless junk. The old trunk looked like it's gone to hell and back. The old velvet curtains hung in the parlor before Gran lightened up the place. That tennis racket probably hasn't served a ball since the 40s. It's a lady's hat from the 1920s.
From Gran's Virginia Woolf period.
Gabriel has seen these ornaments every year at Christmas for Grandma's attic is a storehouse of forgotten treasures and useless junk. Grandma's attic is a storehouse. It's an old, dusty bicycle tire. Grandma's attic. It's an old dress dump. Grandma's attic is a storehouse of forgotten treasures. Grandma, a skylight lets welcome sunlight. The old trunk look. Gabriel. The old trunk looked like it's gone to hell and back.
It looks pretty heavy.
Gabriel's not quite up to rearranging the attic. Gabriel's not. Gabriel. The old trunk looked like it's gone to hell and back.
It looks pretty.
The trunk doesn't operate.
It looks pretty heavy.
The old trunk looked like it's gone to hell and back. The old trunk looked like it's gone to hell and back. Using that on the...
It looks pretty heavy.
The old trunk looked like it's gone to hell and back. There is not the trunk. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Gabriel can't operate the... Why move the... Why move that part of the... Using that... Nothing happens. The ring of symbols, an elaborate mechanical clock, probably of German origin. It doesn't seem to be running at the moment. It's the minute hand. A ring of 6 symbols surround the face of the clock. A ring of 6... The face of the... The face of the clock. The face of the clock. The face... Nothing happened. Gabriel cannot. There's no one there to interrogate. Gabriel doesn't want to take the... the ring, the face, using the hands do not appear to have any mechanical function other than to Why move that part of... Gabriel doesn't want it. Gabriel can... The trunk does... The...
That's it. Take a load off, hon.
Can we talk, Gran?
Of course, my boy. How can I help?
Well, Gran, I better get going.
All right, dear.
Please select a destination icon. Please select it. The wall doesn't work that way. New Orleans is famous for the name Ross is inscribed. A stone angel stands silently before it.
Excuse me, sir.
What you need, boy?
Mind if I pick your brain a minute?
Go ahead. These folks ain't in no hurry.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
They say it was part of an old religion from Africa, brought here by slaves.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
I don't really care to talk about it. I don't do it none myself.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Ain't it just awful, them finding those bodies with voodoo things around them? I don't think there's any real voodoo going on. Somebody's trying to cover their tracks is all.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
I don't really care to talk about it. I don't do it none myself.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
Seems like everybody want to visit New Orleans at least once in their lives. And they love the cemetery tour. I see tourists in here every day of the year.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
There's lots of things to see here, but none are as beautiful as the St. Louis Cemetery #1.
Tell me about yourself.
My name is Toussaint Gervais. I'm the watchman here at St. Louis number 1.
What exactly do you do here?
Oh, I keep the place tidy, cause, but a big part of my job, too, is looking out for the grievers, you know. People come to pay their respects, and they need looking out for. Sometimes they so grief-bound they don't know what they doing.
Tell me about yourself.
That's about all there is to say.
Tell me something about St. Louis Cemetery, number 1.
You know why the dead are buried in tombs and not in the ground, don't you? The water table's too high. Them coffins would float right out of their graves. Them dead would go floating right down into the water. Course, if it was Mardi Gras, nobody'd even notice.
Tell me something about St. Louis Cemetery, number 1.
It's a historical place. People buried in here from the Civil War and back further, too. Take a look around, you'll see.
Tell me about yourself.
That's about all there is to say.
It's the Wright family tomb. Several of Gabriel and Grant's family members are laid to rest here. There's nothing. The marble and granite tombs are quite heavy. A statue of a small child clings to a cross atop the right. Gabriel. Why do
No, thanks.
the marble and Gabriel can't take the marks with him that way? The scene, Gabriel. Gabriel likes the idea of leaving marks on the tomb. Gabriel likes the idea of leaving marks on the tomb. But at the moment he's not sure what to say or how to say it. An old man tends the cemetery with movements akin using that on the tomb would be pointless.
Could I have a minute?
What you need, boy?
Mind if I pick your brain a minute?
Go ahead.
I knew you'd miss me, so I came back.
The excitement of seeing you is killing me.
There's no one in that part of the
Got a minute, Greg? Do you have messages for me?
Nope. None right now.
I'll be back later.
Uh-huh.
Gabriel cannot interrogate.
If I want to open up, I'll go to a shrink.
Gabriel. Gabriel likes the idea of leaving marks on the tomb. But at the moment he is not sure what to say or how to say it. Gabriel likes the
I'm sorry to bother you.
You got something to say, son?
Mind if I pick your brain a minute?
Go ahead. These folks ain't in no hurry.
Tell me about you.
That's about all they...
Tell me something about St. Louis Cemetery, number 1.
Just look around. Just look around.
What can you tell me?
I don't really care.
What do you know about the voodoo murders? What can you tell me?
Hey, if you want to know more...
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
I told you all I know.
Gabriel can't do anything with the buildings. There is nothing of interest in that direction.
Could I ask you a few questions?
Sure.
So what has Sam told you about voodoo?
That's about all I can remember.
But Gabriel cannot do anything.
Hi. Look around all you want.
Do you know anything about this?
Nope.
I'll be gone now, thanks.
So long.
Gabriel, come in.
Hi, Gran.
Make yourself at home, son.
Does this mean anything to you, Gran?
Sorry, no, Gabriel.
I'm going up the attic again.
Enjoy yourself, dear.
Gabriel's not quite up to a... Nothing happens. Gabriel's not... Gabriel...
I think I'll take Daddy's sketchbook with me. There's nothing I want in there. I think I'll leave that up here. I think I'll leave that up here.
Those two objects would have no effect. Images haunt the pages of Philip Knight's. The images touch a deep chord in Gabriel. So familiar are they that he finds it hard to believe they aren't from his own image. Those two objects, that object, the Gabriel.
Well, Gran, I better get going.
All right, dear.
Hi.
Okay, thanks.
That display doesn't open.
Do you know anything about this?
Nope.
I'll be gone now, thanks.
So long.
Lucy, I'm home.
Really? I forgot you were gone.
Do you know anything about this?
No, sorry.
Do you know anything about this?
No, sorry.
I'm going out.
Uh-huh.
Excuse me, sir?
Yeah? What can I do for you?
Does this mean anything to you?
It's a piece of brick. You can find them all over the cemetery.
Does this mean anything to you?
Nope.
Does this mean anything to you?
Can't say that it does.
Does this mean anything to you?
Can't say that it does.
Gabriel, my love. How nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, Gran.
Make yourself at home, son.
Does this mean anything to you, Gran?
Sorry, no, Gabriel.
Gabriel doesn't want...
Does this mean anything to you, Gran?
I believe that was your father's, Gabriel. You keep it.
Gabriel doesn't want to sketch that.
Does this mean anything to you, Gran?
I believe that was your father's, Gabriel. You keep it.
Gabriel looks fondly at his father's sketchbook and charcoal pencil. Those two objects would have those two objects Gabriel can see.
Well, Gran, I better get going.
All right, dear.